Picture this, a powerhouse in American television, known for its bold conservative stance, faces a financial stumble and a net loss in the third quarter of 2025, all seemingly tied to a heated boycott of a popular late-night show. It's a story of media moguls, political tensions, and the high stakes of public opinion. And trust me, you won't want to look away. But here's where it gets controversial. Was this just business, or did government pressure play a hidden role? Let's dive into the details and unpack what really happened, step by step, so even newcomers to the media world can follow along. Sinclair Broadcasting Group, one of the largest television station operators in the United States, announced a notable decline in its Q3 earnings for 2025. The company reported quarterly revenue of $773 million, which represents a 16% decrease from the previous year. More strikingly, they shifted from a net income of $94 million in Q3 2024 to a net loss of $1 million. That's just 2 cents per share. This downturn comes on the heels of a short-lived blackout of Jimmy Kimmel Live on its 38 ABC-affiliated stations back in September. While it's unclear exactly how much this decision impacted their finances, since Sinclair's earnings release didn't address the incident directly, the timing raises eyebrows. To put this in perspective for beginners, revenue drops like this can happen for many reasons in the media industry, such as shifts in advertising spending, which we'll explore more below. Advertising revenue took the biggest hit, plummeting 26% year over year. Experts point to the intense political advertising surge during the 2024 election cycle as a major factor, as campaigns poured money into TV spots to reach voters. Imagine advertisers reallocating budgets toward political messages instead of everyday products. It can leave traditional TV ads struggling. For context, Sinclair's media segment, which includes their broadcast TV stations, multicast networks, and original programming, generated $765 million in revenue, also down 16%. This segment is the backbone of their operations, covering everything from local news to niche channels like Comet and Charge. Despite the challenges, Sinclair's president and CEO, Chris Ripley, struck an optimistic tone in his prepared statement. Sinclair delivered a strong third quarter, achieving the high end of guidance for advertising and distribution revenue, while media expenses and adjusted EBITDA beat expectations, he noted. Adjusted EBITDA, for those new to financial jargon, stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. It's a measure of operational profitability that helps investors gauge how well a company is generating cash from its core activities. Ripley expressed confidence in future improvements, predicting better core advertising trends in Q4 and a rise in distribution revenue. This forward-looking view is common in earnings calls, as leaders aim to reassure stakeholders amid short-term setbacks. Headquartered in Baltimore, Sinclair manages, owns, or services 185 TV stations across 85 markets, partnering with all major broadcast networks. They also run specialty channels like Tennis Channel, TBD, and The Nest. Their conservative-leaning reputation often puts them at the center of political debates, and this Q3 episode is no exception. On September 17th, Sinclair pulled Jimmy Kimmel Live from its ABC stations, in response to comments Kimmel made about the murder of Charlie Kirk, a prominent conservative activist. Kimmel had said on his show, "We hit some new lows over the weekend, with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize the kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it." This sparked fury among MAGA supporters, who felt Kimmel was implying the assassin belonged to their group. And this is the part most people miss. The situation escalated when FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, during a conservative podcast appearance earlier that same day, hinted that ABC affiliates could face serious consequences, like losing their Spectrum licenses if they didn't intervene. Carr implied the agency might target them unless action was taken against Kimmel, essentially pulling the show. This led to intense pressure, and Sinclair, along with Nexstar Media, announced they were preempting the program. ABC responded by suspending Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely. For those unfamiliar, the FCC regulates broadcasting in the U.S., ensuring fair competition and public interest. Here, it seemed to blend into the fray in a way that sparked debates about free speech and government influence on media. Sinclair framed their decision as independent, free from any government sway, and called for the FCC to act on what they saw as excessive control by big national networks over local broadcasters. They demanded Kimmel apologize to the Kirk family and make a significant donation to them and Turning Point USA, the organization Kirk co-founded. Originally, Sinclair planned a tribute to Kirk on September 19th, but instead aired a rerun of Celebrity Family Feud. Kimmel didn't meet those demands, but after discussions with ABC, Sinclair resumed airing the show on September 26th, citing progress on ideas like appointing an independent ombudsman for ABC. They defended their actions by arguing it was hypocritical to advocate for free speech while forcing broadcasters to carry specific content. In a twist, Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's widow, shared in a Fox News interview with Jesse Waters that Sinclair executives contacted her, offering to push for an apology from Kimmel or have her appear on a program. She turned them down. Meanwhile, Kimmel returned emotionally, stating on air, "It was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it." He mentioned an Instagram post from the day of Kirk's death, expressing love for the family and calling for compassion, which he said he still meant. Beyond the drama, Sinclair is in the midst of a comprehensive strategic review of its broadcast business, announced in August, potentially involving sales or acquisitions. Any such deals with broadcast licenses require FCC approval. On the earnings call, Ripley hinted at possible changes, like the FCC increasing the national ownership. Looking ahead, Ripley highlighted expectations of record political revenue from the 2026 midterm elections, aided by regulatory shifts that could foster industry consolidation for better efficiencies. This episode raises big questions. Is it right for a broadcaster to punish a host over political commentary, especially when it seems tied to external pressures? Could this be seen as censorship or a necessary stand against perceived bias? And what about the financial toll? Does prioritizing ideology over ratings make sense in today's media landscape? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with Sinclair's actions, or do you see it as overreach? Share your opinions in the comments. Let's discuss.